welcome. So obviously you saw the title of the video. We're talking about the Reverse Retro Series jerseys. We're going to be going ahead and, well, I'll be ranking them. You won't be ranking them, but I've already preset my rankings 63 through number 1, 63 because Seattle was not quite in the league yet for the first round. So yeah, we'll be going through both runs, the Reverse Retro 1.0 series, as it's kind of called, from the 2020 and 2021 season, and then the Reverse Retro 2.0s from the 2022-2023 season. The only jerseys that are kind of Reverse Retro that I'll be excluding are the two All-Star jerseys from the 2022-23 season, which were reverse retro themed, but because they're not really associated with any one team, I didn't feel like I wanted to include them in this ranking. But I can show you them at the very end. I've got them, but yeah, they won't be included. Other than that, we'll be doing all the other teams, and I had basically two criteria for how I determine my rankings. Again, this isn't like an objective thing. I didn't really do any like algorithm to figure it out. I kind of just sort of went through and based on my feelings, this is what I came up with. So I have two criteria again. How much I actually like the look, like the actual design and everything, and then whether or not I feel like it's actually constitutes a reverse retro jersey. Because there are some in here that we'll see that maybe it's a halfway decent design, but I don't really feel like it meets the definition of what I would consider to be reverse retro. So I guess we'll just jump in here. I've got the rack here, so you can kind of see how it's laid out, but maybe don't spoil yourself too much. And we'll start with number 63. Yeah, Detroit Red Wings. Their Reverse Retro 2.0. This is it has 1991 on the inside collar here as the number, but that's really not like the whole story. That's when they wore their 75th anniversary jerseys, and so they were throwing back to the Detroit Cougars design from 1927, 1928, and I just it's just not for me. The striping is obviously very old school. I really don't care for just the generic Detroit word mark here, and yeah, pretty like I think they had other options that could have proven to be a lot better than this. So yeah, pretty disappointing. This one's not customized. Most of mine aren't. I have some that are, but I don't have enough money to justify getting all of these customized. So just picked them up. This one I don't think was too expensive, but they are harder to find, especially like I bought this one after the original run because I wasn't originally planning on getting all of them, but obviously that plan has changed. So yeah, this one was just a complete miss for me. It is reverse retro, and it does have black in it, which I think a lot of Detroit fans have wanted a jersey with black in it again, but this wasn't, I don't think, exactly what they were looking for. I'm sure some fans like it. For me, bottom of the list. Now, I think it would make some sense that this design from Chicago, also their 2.0 design, is right in front of it. So, yeah, it's much of the same. This is their 1938 design, and I don't know. I don't think this was the right move. Especially, I mean, I don't know if they knew that Detroit was going to be doing something very similar to this. This one does have white stripes in it when the Detroit one doesn't. But I do think, just kind of looking through the options that Chicago had, I think their previous design, their 1935 to 1937 design, would have been a much better choice. It features some tan, which they removed with this one, and I think that could have worked a lot better. It would have been a little bit more similar to the Reverse Retro 1.0 jersey that they did, which we'll get to in a little bit here. So yeah, this one's also a miss for me. It just doesn't inspire me a whole lot. This is a Joe Pavelski. This is the Dallas Stars. This is our first 1.0 jersey, so this is my least favorite of that initial run. This is based off of their 1999 jersey. So they kind of, I don't know, it's a little, it's just very strange. Even on camera, you can see that the stars in silver and the outline of the star here in silver is just very hard to see. It doesn't contrast well at all on the totally white background. They also wore white pants with this, which was a choice. It's just a lot of white with the silver not really adding a whole lot to me. I do like the shoulder patch, but that's the one that they wore at that time in '99, so they brought that back. I just think it's just a miss for me. I do think they should have added some sort of the gold that they were using back then. Like if they made maybe not a gold base jersey, but I'm just surprised that there's absolutely no gold in this, and that they instead just whitewashed it with the silver. So yeah, this one was not a fan favorite of mine, and I did have to pay a decent bit to get this to add it to my collection, which I was a little upset about. But I have it now, so water under the bridge. But yeah, Dallas, big miss on their first go for me. Another miss on the initial run for me is the Nashville Predators. This is their original design that they're throwing back to 1998, and they basically just took all of the elements of the original jersey that I don't really care for, and then slapped on their new logo and their their new mustard yellow. Well, not quite mustard, but their current yellow, and made this the silver / gray is very. It's just like a different material. It's a very shiny material, and I don't like how it feels. They do have this shoulder patch, the saber-tooth-esque sort of thing here, which I do like that. But everything else is pretty much a miss for me. I really don't like Preds jerseys in general, which hurts this one a little bit. I don't really care for the original striping, just not for me. And yeah, overall there wasn't a lot that I liked about this one. Fitting with the gray theme, we've got the Toronto Maple Leafs Reverse Retro 1.0. So they have 1970 on here. They kind of took a few different aspects. They've got some striping, I think, from sometime in the 70s they used this. This is like their 60s logo. And then the silver kind of from their centennial or 75th anniversary jersey as well. Or maybe centennial, I'm not sure. Either way, I really just wasn't a big fan of this one. I don't get the gray. I know they don't have a lot of choices to work with, but I was surprised that they never did a St. Pat's throwback reverse retro. Like, I think a green jersey would have worked really well, especially because all of the St. Pat's jerseys that they've been wearing are white with green rather than a green base. It just feels like a huge missed opportunity for them to do some sort of green base jersey. So yeah, I really don't like this logo. I like their current logo a lot more. So this was a miss for me. And the gray, just Reverse Retro 1.0, that series featured a lot of gray, which was not a fan. Or I wasn't a fan, and I think a lot of people were also not very receptive to it. You might be able to still find this somewhere. It's getting harder and harder to find these on secondary markets, and maybe you could find it even on like some first party sites. But yeah, this one is not. I think I got it for maybe $50. So yeah, this one is not very good. And that will be number 59 on the list. I should remember to state the number before it. So we had Chicago was 62, Dallas 61, Nashville 60, and Toronto 59. Here we go, 58 for Montreal. So this is their Reverse Retro 2.0. It's not really reverse in any way. This is just the same striping, the same logo that they always use, of course. and then they just slapped the Expos blue on there. They did say that it was inspired by the city of Montreal. Obviously, they didn't want to explicitly say Expos. I don't know if there was like rights things that they would be infringing on. I'm not sure, but yeah, they're calling out 1979 there. But yeah, it's not really anything super special, and I just don't really care for this baby blue. I didn't think it worked very well. So it's an uninspiring design, not really reverse retro in any way, and they kind of just said, let's just slap another color that fans in the area are kind of nostalgic for and call it a day. So they phoned it in a little bit, and that's why I've got it at 58th. Another Detroit jersey. So Detroit did not do well, in my opinion, on both of these series. So they're already done. This is their reverse retro 1.0. This is going back to 1998. It's not really like a specific design to 98, but they won the cup that year. So they kind of just called back to this. This is kind of using their original white away jersey from like pre-61 era and slapped it on more gray again, more silver, whatever you want to call it, from their anniversary jersey. It just looks like a practice jersey to me. And look at this. The striping, there's one stripe, one big thick gray stripe. Okay. Where do your eyes draw to? They don't have shoulder patches, and yeah, overall, I just don't get this, and I think they could have done a lot better. So it's not like objectively ugly to look at, which is why it's ahead of some of the other ones on this list. Well, not objectively, but according to me, I don't think it's too ugly. It just doesn't inspire me a whole lot. So yeah. 57 on the list. Now this one I do think is kind of gaudy. This is the St. Louis Blues Reverse Retro 2.0, harkening back to a concept design from 1966 that they did not end up going with. So this is the first time that this design has ever actually been on a Blues jersey. I applaud the Blues for trying something, like taking a leap, and that's ultimately why I have this one higher up than the Red Wings, because at least they did something that could have worked. In my opinion, it just doesn't. I don't love all of this yellow, and I'm not surprised that this Blues logo did not end up winning out as far as their different concepts that they were trying to go with for their inaugural season in '67. So, yeah, it's not a favorite of mine, and I was able to get this one also pretty cheap. I think maybe 50 or 60, 70 bucks. So, yeah, this one was not received very well. But, again, they tried. I'll give them some points for that. So they end up with 56 on my list. Okay, number 55. San Jose Sharks Reverse Retro 1.0. This is basically throwing back to their original alternate design. But again, the gray. They do use their darker teal that they used for that. And this is their original logo, which a lot of people prefer. I don't know, I kind of like the newer one a little bit better. But there's some nice things with this. This is a Vander Kane, not Patrick Kane. This is a Vander Kane. I got this one pretty cheap on the Sharks Pro Shop. But, yeah, just the gray doesn't do it for me. The striping is fine. But, yeah, ultimately, I'm just okay with it. It doesn't blow me away again. That's pretty far down the list. But I found when kind of making this ranking list that I did like a majority of the looks, at least somewhat. Like this one, it's not too ugly to me. The gray, again, is an interesting choice. But other than that, it doesn't look awful. There were a lot of other designs that I preferred a lot more. So, number 55 on the list for San Jose. For number 54, we have the Buffalo Sabres 2.0 design. This is calling back to 96, of course, when they introduced this logo known by most fans as the goat head. Um, what I really don't get about this design, this choice, is that they went with another white jersey. They did a white jersey for their original run of the Reverse Retro series, and then they just did another white one. Like, they never... They certainly could have gotten away with just making this a blue, like using their current blue, keeping this white, or... No, I don't think you'd make it yellow, but just keep it white, and then, yeah, have a blue jersey, and instead they just kind of did this, and so you've got this white on white going here, which I'm not a huge fan of. The striping I've never been a big fan of either. In general, I'm just not a huge goat head guy. It's starting to grow on me a little bit, but it's really not my favorite. So I think this would have bumped up a lot more on my list had they gone with a blue base instead of the white. So it kind of just is a lot. It's very similar to the Stars one that we saw earlier, and so yeah, it's not like terrible, but again, I think they could have done a lot better with this. So that's why I have it down here. All right, San Jose again, this time at 53. So they didn't do very well for me either. This is throwing back to the California Golden Seals, 1974. So that was their last go around. This is when they switched to this teal color rather than the green. And so obviously the Sharks weren't around back then, but they're throwing back to the California Golden Seals. I think they could have also done just a blue base. I think this would have worked better. I think people would have been more receptive to it if they had just gone blue, because the California Golden Seals had a white and a teal version of this jersey. Obviously, they didn't have Sharks on the front, but they could have, the Sharks could have just done white on the inside. They could have switched this, and I think it would have worked better. You'll see that I haven't always been the biggest fan of the white base reverse retro jerseys as we keep going. And yeah, the word mark is okay. I do like these colors. Like, they're a little different. It was kind of fun to see them on the ice, but yeah, it's not my favorite. Just, it's okay. I do like that they again did something a little bit different, a little out of the box, like throwing back to another team in the Bay Area, but ultimately not a super big win. So 53 on the list. All right. Ottawa Reverse Retro 2.0 comes in at 52. So they just, again, this is another scenario where I feel like they could have done a lot more with this. What did they do? They took their striping, this curved sort of stripe from their 2007 alternate jersey, and they just slapped their current logo on here and called it a day. They've got their we've got this sort of Senator look here on the shoulder patches, but I think part of what hurts this one is that they just use this logo again. Like, we're already getting not necessarily sick of it, but it's like, okay, during their first Reverse Retro one run, they brought this logo back at the same time as when they added it for that jersey, because they switched to this logo for their home jersey the same year, and then 2 years later we get this logo again, and it's like they have other designs, other logos that they could have kind of gone with. The striping is different. Like, obviously that's how you know this is calling back to that alternate jersey, but I just think there were other opportunities there that they kind of squandered by just, playing it safe with their logo that they're using for everything now. So it's not ugly to me. I think the striping was weird back then, and it's still a little strange, but it's not awful. It's just again, we're sort of getting into this range here at the bottom where I don't love these picks, but they're not like objectively terrible to me. So 52 for Reverse Retro 2.0. Another 2.0 jersey. This is the Flyers Reverse Retro 2.0. They're calling back to 75 here, which is the last time that they won the Stanley Cup. And again, this one isn't really that bad. It is just not, I don't know. It's always tough with Flyers jerseys because they don't really change a whole lot. They've changed this logo maybe one time, other than changing the orange in here to a slightly different shade. But they really haven't done a lot with the logo, and the striping is always like what changes the most. They even really don't do anything much with their colors, so it's fine. It's fine. 51 on the list. I don't have a ton to say about this one. More of the gray. Coming in at 50, Reverse Retro 1.0 for Winnipeg. So this is calling back to 1979, the first year of the original Winnipeg Jets, not the current Winnipeg Jets, who moved from Atlanta. Love the logo, and I do like the coloring with this type of blue here on the Winnipeg and on the Jet there. But the gray, what was going on with the gray? Like, yeah, I'm more of a broken record here, but the gray, just I don't get where it's coming from. I don't understand why so many teams went with gray as a featured color originally, but everything else is fine. It's just the gray that really knocks this down for me. But good to bring that logo back. I would like to see them bring this logo back in some capacity full time. Maybe not colorized exactly like this, but it's just nice to see. Number 49. Vancouver's 1.0 design. So this is throwing back to their 2001 alternate, the gradient, where instead of green they were using red and blue back then. So I don't know how many people were really clamoring for the gradient design to come back. Obviously, Vancouver has had a lot of different iterations of logos and jerseys, so they had a lot of options. I don't know if this was like one that people really wanted, and I wasn't too enamored with it when it first came out, but it's not awful. It's just, again, we're in that middling sort of stage of the latter half where it's fine. It just, I've never been a huge fan of this logo, and honestly the gradient kind of saved it. Otherwise it's just like a slightly better version of the home jersey to me. So it's fine. Coming in at number 48, Colorado's Reverse Retro 2.0 design. So they got 95 on the inside collar here. They're throwing back to the Rockies. 95 was the first year for the Avalanche in Colorado, and they're just throwing back to the Rockies / Scouts sort of color. I mean, really, it's just the Rockies, because obviously they're not tied with that franchise directly. They're just tied with the state of Colorado. So they hadn't really ever utilized any sort of Rockies stuff. They do have the the C from the state flag in there, which is fine, and I do like the current home jersey as the shoulder patches there. Again, it's another white jersey, so I think that knocks it down for me. I'm not in love with this logo either, but it's different. They did try something, and after we'll see as we go. But after they kind of knocked it out of the park with the first go around, they didn't. It was hard to follow that up. So they did fine. I'm using fine a lot, but that's how I feel about most of these. Okay, Carolina's 2.0 design. 2019 is what they're throwing back to, which is when they introduced their away jersey. So this is just, a color swap with their current red on their current away. It's not it's not retro. But other than that, I do like how it looks. I think it's a good look. It's just not a reverse retro design. It's an alternate jersey, which again looks fine. I'm not normally a huge wordmark guy, but this is okay. So I think that's what ultimately knocks it down for me, is just because it's not reverse retro. It's not retro at all. And they probably had other things that they could have called back to in their history, not just Whalers. I think a lot of Canes fans have had enough of all the Whalers throwbacks. So, yeah. It still looks good, though. It does look good to me. So that's why it rounds out at 47. All right, New Jersey's 2.0 design. This one is calling back to the Rockies slash the Scouts. This is the last year of the Colorado Rockies in Colorado, who were originally the Kansas City Scouts. So the Devils haven't really done anything with them before. Again, I think just the big thing for me is that it's a white base jersey, but I do like the striping. I like having the colorization. I do think they could have put some yellow in the outer circle here for the primary logo. I think that would have looked good. Other than that, it's fun. It's a little different, and they kind of already went to the green the first time around. So I think overall New Jersey did pretty well. It's just this one isn't like a huge favorite of mine. I don't find myself really looking forward to wearing this one a ton, but it's nice. Edmonton goes back to this very briefly used design from 2001, their alternate design they wore for the one season. So things I like about this. I do like the orange in there. I do like the orange drop, but I've just never been a super big fan of this logo. I do prefer this one over the original colorization. I think that design just with the gray kind of being featured a little bit more was not my favorite. But yeah, I'm not a huge fan of this logo. They do have this shoulder patch here as well, which is it's decent. Yeah, I don't know. It's just I was never super enamored with this design. I think a lot of fans were happy that it came back, but and again, we're getting to that sort of stage where I don't really dislike how any of these look. It's just there were a lot of jerseys, in my opinion, that were more of a slam dunk, and this one wasn't a slam dunk for me. But it's not bad, and I wouldn't be surprised if they went back to this in some capacity at some point. I don't know. I guess we'll see. We've had a couple teams already do that. But yeah, this one comes in at number 45. All right, Seattle's only design, this one at number 44. This is not throwing back to anything in the Kraken's history, of course. This is throwing back to the Seattle Ironmen 1951. I actually don't remember which league the Ironmen were from. I don't think it was the PWHA. But yeah, I think a lot of people were expecting a Metropolitans throwback instead, and so maybe they were a little bit disappointed when it was Ironmen, excuse me. The striping obviously pretty old fashioned, and yeah, they just used their current logo. Maybe people were expecting them to use their secondary logo, which isn't featured at all on here. I would expect that logo to appear on a jersey for them at some point as the crest. But yeah, overall, this is my least favorite Kraken jersey, but it's still fine. I just think, yeah, a lot of people, myself included, were a little bit disappointed about the potential that they could have gone with. We did see the Metropolitans-esque throwback for the Winter Classic jersey that they did, which a lot of people really enjoyed. And they kind of had some legal trouble with that. I'm not really sure exactly what was going on there, because it's not the logo that they used wasn't exactly the same as the Metropolitans one. It was inspired by it. So I don't know whatever ended up happening with that. But as far as this one, it's okay. It ends up at 44th, a little bit below, the half cut off there. This is the Reverse Retro 2.0 for Nashville, so Nashville's off the board now as well. This is coming in at number 43. So this is throwing back, obviously, to their mustard cat design. They've even got the Nashville word mark there as well. I like this jersey more than their current design, their current home design. I do like this logo. But other than that, it's just I don't generally like Nashville jerseys, which is why this one gets dragged down a little bit. It's fine. Like they definitely wanted to bring back this style. I think a lot of fans were looking for that. But ultimately, I think a lot of fans were really wanting something with navy as the primary jersey color, which we did not get. So that's ultimately what brings it down. This one also has that saber tooth shoulder patch, which I like. That could be fun as a crest as well, but we didn't get that. And yeah, more of this gray, which is kind of a weird material, but it's, again, I think it's better than what they currently use, but they don't have a lot of good jerseys in my opinion. Just that yellow is a lot. Hey, Carolina. This is their 1.0 design, so we've finished off Carolina's jerseys as well. They come in at number 42 with the Whalers throwback. Everybody likes this logo, myself included. And we got Pucky on the shoulder as well, which is fun. This is a Svechnikov, which I actually got customized through the Canes Pro Shop when they had this on sale. So I was happy to get that. But the gray, again, I'm going to keep stretching this. Don't get the gray. They've never used gray. I think, I don't know if people would have loved to see this with just red, like with their current red. Maybe that would have worked, maybe it wouldn't. But yeah, the gray really holds this back. Everything else is great. I love this logo. I love this design. So yeah, going back to the first year of the Whalers, and again, no more gray, please. At number 41, we've got the Pittsburgh Penguins throwing back to their alternate design from '97, which I think actually they had a design a little bit before '97 that used this word mark. I think it was like more like '94. So I'm not sure exactly why they chose '97 here. Maybe somebody in the comments will know. But yeah, they never went with a white version of this, so it makes sense. And again, I'm not a huge word mark guy, which drops this down a little bit, but overall I do think it looks pretty good. This is Sidney Crosby, of course. And yeah, it's decent. I do think that this was a good opportunity for them. Something that a lot of fans might have wanted back in the 90s was to see an away-esque version of this jersey. So yeah, we're really starting to get into the range where they don't look too bad. But there's, again, just more designs that I like more than this. The Pittsburgh Penguins rivals, local rivals, I guess, coming in at number 40. This is the Columbus Blue Jackets' first reverse retro design. This is calling back to their original design from their inaugural season, but obviously using red instead of their blue. And there's no stinger as well, no stinger mascot. They do have the cannon on the shoulders instead. Now, I was initially pretty surprised at this design, but it has grown on me quite a bit, and I actually do think it's not too shabby. This logo I've never been a big fan of, which doesn't help. And yeah, it is a bit jarring to have a Blue Jackets jersey in red, but we'll see later on that I'm not a super stickler for that as we look at the Blues 1.0 design, which was also red. But yeah, it's I don't know. Hey, I think I've said enough about this one. Let's just keep going. We do have the striping on here and the stars as well. It's nice. All right, we're cracking into the 30s now. The Storm jersey, which was also pretty short-lived at the time in '97, I believe. Yes. Very gaudy, very in your face. But I think a lot of fans wanted this, and this one is customized. Look at those 8s. Quite an interesting font choice there. But yeah, very gaudy. This is screen printed. These little waves here are screen printed, but the lightning bolts on the sleeves are not. Again, they didn't use a white version back in the day. It was a black version, so it makes sense for as far as reverse retro. So good points for that. It's just very in your face, very gaudy, but I don't think it's like uglier than say the Red Wings ones or the Blackhawks 2.0 design, things like that. So yeah, I do like this logo too. I don't know if we need like the word marks there, but yeah, it's okay. So they did. I think the Lightning did a good job with both of theirs as far as giving fans what they've kind of wanted for a while. So good on you, Tampa. Okay, coming in at 38, the Rangers bring back the Lady Liberty jersey, and they use this sort of older color, blue here, this darker shade of blue. It's nice. I do think it's nice. The Lady Liberties is nice to see back, and then they have just the regular Rangers shield there with a little bit of silver in there, which is actually I think this is the first time I've noticed that. So we'll see later on. Of course, I prefer the current blue that they ended up using, but they're both fine. We're really starting to get to the point where I'm splitting hairs a little bit about some things. So, and we're not even halfway yet. So a lot of really fun, good designs by the teams coming up. And the rival Islanders come in at number 37. This is their 1.0 design, calling back to 1980 when they first won their first Stanley Cup. Now, it's not reverse retro. It's not reverse at all. They basically just said, let's take our 80s design that people really liked and we won the cup with, and here we go. Modern just neckline and obviously the collar design there, and I think the striping is the same as back in the 80s as well. But I do like the color. That's really what it comes down to. I do like this shade of blue. I think it works with the contrast of the orange. But yeah, this design gets knocked down a little bit for me because it's not reverse in any way. It's just here's our old design, so it's more of an alternate for me. But I do think it looks good, so that's why we're sort of in the middle of the pack here at number 37. 36, the Edmonton Oilers Reverse Retro 1.0 design. I don't know why I keep saying Reverse Retro. You guys know what it is. The 1.0 design. So this is from 1979 is when they're calling it. They took their away jersey and they just swapped the orange and the blue striping, because it was blue originally, and I think the shoulders might have been blue as well. So maybe they swapped everything except for I think in the logo. I think that stayed the same, but it looks good. I do think it looks better than their current away jersey. So I would prefer this, but it would be a little strange to mix and match quite like that. Again, it's another white jersey, which knocked it down a bit. But yeah, I think they did a good job with kind of limited design choices. Again, the Oilers haven't really changed a ton, and they later obviously went back to that briefly used alternate logo. But this is good. This is good enough for Edmonton. Coming in at 35, Arizona's 2.0 design. This is, again, throwing back to their original alternate from 98, the green one. So I like the burnt sienna. This is the first time that this specific color, or desert sienna, whatever you want to call it, has been used as a primary color on a jersey, which I thought was fun. I really just gave this one some knocks because they could have done something else besides using this exact design again, after using it 2 seasons prior for the original run of these reverse retro jerseys. So that's really what hurt it. Was I'm like, okay, I like this, it looks good, it does look objectively good to me, but there's more that they could have done. There's other designs that they could have thrown back to. If they still wanted to use this color, they probably could have. I just think, yeah, a little uninspired for dipping back into this well again, which we'll see for some other gripes that I have with some other jerseys going forward, where it's like, all right, really, we're doing this one again? Okay, I get it, it looks good, but they had other choices to make. Still, it looks fine. We're getting close to the halfway mark here. Okay, the Bruins throw back to this kind of 80s colored gold. And I don't have a lot to say about this one. They do have the meth bear, whatever you want to call it. on the shoulders, which is fun. It's a lot of gold, and I do like this logo. So yeah, it doesn't like blow me away. I'm like, wow, like when I first saw these, I didn't really need to have this, and I wasn't really collecting very much back then. Um, but I do think they did a pretty good job with this. Again, the gold knocks it down a little bit, which is how much there is, but you kind of have to do a little bit of that if those are your primary colors, and they've already done a lot of black based jerseys, so it's good. All right, number 33. So the Sens, like I mentioned earlier, they go back to this logo, except this one is, excuse me, the one with the red on the tips there instead of the gold. Um, so I like that it's a red jersey. I do like having the red in the tips, so it differentiates itself very slightly from their current home jersey, which or home logo, which was this one. But so that's what brings it here, is just because it's slightly different, and it is an objectively good looking jersey in my opinion. Like I would be fine if this was a current alternate that they used, but other than that, yeah, it's like they have other designs that they could have gone to. I think they could have used the O in some capacity. They could have brought back the Scooby Doo eyes, I guess people like to call it, the the senator where the eyes always follow you no matter where you go. Um, but other than that, it's good. So this is, yeah, throwing back to '92, their inaugural design basically. Lou does it. Lou brings back the Fisherman. So coming in at number 32, this was another one of those very briefly used designs in the '90s. Again, we'll see a lot of the '90s designs make a resurgence this go around, and what really knocks it is the limited amount of the teal. I think I'm okay with not having the wave design on the bottom, but they could have done that if they wanted to have a little bit more fun with it. But it does look good. I think I do like this logo. I like the orange colorization here. I think the beard color they changed to, can't remember. Um, but yeah, it's just like, okay, look, here's a little bit of teal on the stick and on this little wave. So they gave you a teaser of it, but it would have been bumped up a lot more if there was a lot more teal going on here. So that's ultimately what brings it to 32. This is still a good compromise, I think. Thank you, Lou, for allowing us to have a little bit of fun, and now the Bridgeport Islanders also are going back to this design as well for their home and away jerseys, which is fun. So yeah, good on you guys, and we're really starting to get into the designs that I've liked quite a bit. This is it for the Flyers as well. This is their 1.0 design. They're calling back to 95 here, and I do think it looks good. I think it looks pretty decent as far as Flyers jerseys go. Again, I've said I don't think they change a whole lot, and I'm never super big on Flyers jerseys. And this is Sean Couturier, current captain, alternate at the time, of course. But yeah, it looks good. I think they're limited with what they can do, but I do like the striping. I do like the this style of orange is good, because it's very tough with orange. I'm a big orange fan, but it can easily make a jersey look not great when you use like a bad style orange, a bad neon orange, or if it just doesn't contrast well with the rest of the jersey. But I think this one does contrast pretty well. So as far as Flyers jerseys go, I think this is pretty high up there as far as like what they've worn in their history, at least to me. Oh, I forgot to mention with the 2.0 one that they had the Cooperalls going as well. So I'll just throw that in there. But yeah, they did wear the Cooperalls with their 2.0 design, just for warm ups, of course. But that's part of the reason why they brought those designs back. But this one is better in my opinion. I think I'm more happy with having this orange as the base, and so you did as good as you could have, I think. Maybe if they had a little more cream in there, they could have, because I'm a big cream fan, so I like I think it was their 2012 Winter Classic jersey that they wore with the cream, so that's probably my favorite Flyers jersey. Okay, number 30. So the Kings never wore a white version of this design with the crown back when they were wearing these in the 80s. So, and obviously the 60s coloring with the purple and the yellow. Thank you. Very good. So, yeah, I don't love the crown. I've never been a super big fan of this crown, but it's okay. Again, it's a white jersey, but I do think as far as being reverse, good on them for making it a white jersey. So, I love having the purple back. It was great to see this, and there's just other designs that I preferred, but I really don't have a ton of knocks with this. Again, crown not my favorite, and it's white. Other than that, good job. The Ducks really decided to go back to the Wild Wing, and they'd never worn a white version of this again. It was reversed, so good on them for doing that. It's very gaudy. It's just so 90s. This is their 95 design. This is a Ryan Getzlaff. Since retired, but love having the eggplant and the jade featured. Would love a little bit more of the eggplant, but that's okay. Overall, though, yeah, it's really fun. It's a little gaudy, which might knock it down a little bit for me, but yeah, it's still really fun. It's just I don't know how many times I've said fun, but I just love it. So number 29 on the list, breaking the 20s. Okay, so Minnesota breaks in at number 28 with their North Stars designs. Obviously, the Wild are not directly affiliated with the North Stars, but Minnesota. So that connection there. A lot of people really like the yellow. I liked both of these designs, but I did prefer the the green base one, as we'll see going forward. But they did good. Yeah, they did a good job. It's a little, again. Some people were saying Subway esque. I don't think it's too bad. I do like the colorization of the primary logo there, and I think they could have maybe tried to go back to something else in their Wild history. But other than that, it does look good to me. All right, number 27. The Sabres go back to their crossing sabers, crossing swords design. This is a Jack Eichel, which maybe some Buffalo fans would not want to own this jersey. And I don't even know if he played that season, so he might not have ever worn this one. But I like this quite a bit. I do like the buffalo on the bottom stripe there. I do like the crossing swords. I don't know. I can't remember if they wore a royal blue design with this. I don't think they did. I think they just had the red, maybe. But so that could have bumped it up, I guess, a little bit. But I do think this looks pretty good. And this is one of the. I think this might be the highest ranked white jersey that I have on this list. So yeah, this one they knocked out of the park. Their second one I was not obviously as big a fan of, but yeah, good logo. I do like, again, the word mark, and they had fun with this one. Okay, Vegas comes in at number 26. So Vegas obviously not around. The Golden Knights, that is, back long enough for them to really have any designs to throw back to. So they go with the Las Vegas Thunder in '95. Their design with this striping from the IHL. And then they slap their secondary logo on there, put some red in there because they hadn't used red as a base. And this one is a Chandler Stevenson, which I recently got customized. I do like it. I do like it quite a bit. The red I wasn't initially sure I was going to love, but I do think it's pretty fun. They do throw back to some Vegas history, which was tough for them to do, I'm sure. And yeah, we'll see that I obviously like the Vegas jerseys quite a bit. A little biased there, but yeah, I think it's nice having the secondary logo on the crest, and I do think the home primary logo looks pretty good on the shoulders as well. So yeah, the red probably knocks it down a little bit for me compared to some of the other ones, but everything else, slam dunk. Coming in at number 25. So after a disastrous original reverse retro jersey, the Leafs come up with this, and this is a much nicer design. This is felt material. I love this logo a lot more than that really angled, boxy sort of one that they were going with in the 60s. And so this is thrown back to 1962. I believe it was the 1962-63 Cup win that they're kind of throwing back to. I think they grabbed some striping from another away jersey. But yeah, this one is really nice actually. I would be totally happy with this coming back as a permanent alternate because I just love everything about it, really. Pretty good for the Leafs, and I'm not always a huge fan of their designs, but this one is great. So this is Chicago's 1.0 design coming in at number 24. This is from 1940, and what really brought me up is I do like this logo a lot more than their current home jersey logo. I've just never been a fan of that logo, but this one I do think is much nicer. I like the circle. I like the striping. It's a lot less gaudy than the crazy striping on their 2.0 design. So yeah, this one is very nice in my opinion. I would love this as their current home jersey. I know that's again sacrilege to think they would ever change from their current design, but this one's good. The only thing I wish that they had used some tan, even though I don't think they had any tan in their 40s design. I was mentioning their 35 to 37 design had the tan. So that if they had done something with that, and used this logo, that would have been a slam dunk. But yeah, overall this is like a 9, 8.5 out of 10. All right, coming in at 23, I had really wanted the Panthers to use this logo as a crest, and they delivered. I just love this logo. I love the crossing palm tree and the hockey stick. This secondary logo is fine. The only thing that really knocked it for me is I'm just not a fan of this sort of Miami Vice blue. It's just not my favorite. Everything else, though, I was very happy with. Like, if this was just the navy blue that they use in their other design, this would have been a slam dunk as well. But yeah, everything else is great, and I'm just really happy to see this logo as a crest. Number 22. So this might surprise some people, but I liked this pedestal design quite a bit. I love this white C logo. I just think it looks very clean. I just love how it looks, especially on the black background. And yeah, everything about this jersey is nice. The striping is definitely unique. You can tell right away it's a Calgary design. This is a reverse because they never wore a black version of this. They only wore the white version back when this was introduced in, I believe it was 95 or 98. Oh, no, sorry, in 95. They did have I'm mixing things up. Excuse me. Anyways, this one's very good. I'm mixing it up with their other design. But I just like this one quite a bit. I like both of Calgary's, as you see, because I haven't seen the other Calgary one yet. We'll get there. Okay, Boston brings back the Pooh Bear jersey with their 2.0 design. This is coming in at number 21 on our list. And yeah, I like the striping. I do like the Pooh Bear. That's what a lot of people call it. It's not like it's very intimidating, which maybe some people don't like, but I'm glad that they tried it and brought it back. They got the little Bruins shoulder patch there as well. And yeah, okay, so this is actually probably my number one rated white jersey then. So sorry, Sabres. But yeah, this one I had a lot of fun with, and comes in at number 21. Okay, well, first of all, I just checked and I got a couple more white jerseys left, so I'm just going to stop saying that because I have a couple more to go. But let's talk about this design. So this is coming in at number 20, St. Louis's original series design. So this is thrown back to their alternate from the 90s that Gretzky famously wore, but obviously swapping it out. So instead of red on the bottom and blue as the base, it's red. I think this looks great. I know some Blues fans were not a fan of having a red Blues design, but it looks really good to me. I just really like it. Sorry, Justin. I like the the trumpet shoulder patch as well. And this is a Torrey Krug, big fan of his. So overall, yeah, I just really like this design. It's something that I don't know if I necessarily would have expected that I would have wanted, but now that I've seen it and I have one, I'm like, oh, yeah, you guys did an absolutely great job. So nicely done, St. Louis. All right, we're cracking into the teens now. This is Calgary's 1.0 design, the Blasty jersey. We've got this logo again on the shoulder patch, and so yeah, the only thing that they really changed from when they wore this design was there was red on the bottom here and on the bottom of the sleeves. So they changed that to black. Everything else is the same as when they initially wore this design in '98. So that gets a couple knocks for me because they didn't really reverse or change a whole lot, but I just love how it looks. I do like this Blasty logo. I like the striping. I'm just a Calgary fan, I guess, as far as their jerseys. Besides their old home jerseys, the dark red with the black flame, I've just not been a fan of those. But this design I like quite a bit, and fans obviously seem to be a fan of it too because the Flames brought this design back as a permanent third jersey. So yeah, this one did really well. Not surprised. Coming in at number 18, the Columbus Blue Jackets. They did great with this. So this is calling back to their first alternate jersey where they had black on the shoulders and the arms here instead of as the base color. This is their current home logo, which I think it looks a lot better here than it does on their current home jersey. And they've got the original logo as their shoulder patch there. And they've got the stars and the stripes there. Overall, I'm just very happy with this. This is using their blue from their current alternate, kind of. So, oh, and they have this shoulder patch as well, which is decent. But yeah, I was actually very surprised with how much I liked this design. Because yeah, I'm not always a huge fan of this logo, but I really like the striping. I really like the contrast of the black with this color, with this shade of blue. So I thought they did really, really well with this go around. So this is probably one of my favorite Blue Jackets jerseys. Obviously the alternate with the cannon being my favorite, and I'd love to see them switch that full time. I know people complain about that, like, oh, they shouldn't do that. It'll look like, some other leagues' jerseys or whatever. I can't remember what design. There's like a minor league team that looks exactly like that, basically, for having a white version, but whatever. This one, good. Comes in at 18. Okay, number 17. So the first of two of the Screaming Eagle designs, but I think it looks great. I do love the black, the blue, and the bronze. It's just the only thing that really knocks it down is that they already went into this well for their first reverse retro design. I think there's other things that they could have done, but this one also coming back as a alternate design. The Caps are going to be wearing this one this year for their 50th anniversary on I think like 3 or 4 games. So that'll be fun. But yeah, I do like having the Capitol building on the shoulder. I do kind of wish that this had been the primary logo that they'd used at least once for these, but this is still very good. Like I'm having a hard time really finding knocks with this one. The design looks great. I just wish that they had done something else and maybe brought this back later as an alternate. Like, use this design as an alternate after the fact and then have some sort of other design, maybe bringing the Capitol building on the front, or they had other options they could have chosen, but that's okay. Still, very good. And so here we have at number, what do we got here? Number 16, the Wild. So they just reverse their 1.0 design. They throw the green on the front. I just think it looks nicer than the white version, but a couple knocks again for originality, like really dipping into this one again instead of going with something from the Wild's history. But it looks good, and it looks good enough to me where I thought that it deserved to be at this spot. Not quite top 10, but yeah, it still looks really good. So, and this one I believe is also an alternate that they're now currently using. They change it slightly, and they put the C, the Minnesota State C there, which is fun. Going in at 15, so Winnipeg, another good design. They've got this logo again, and they just colorized it where they used this blue that they used on their alternate jersey from a little while ago with the Jets word mark and the aviator blue, I believe they called it. And I just like the way that they use that color because I think it works best as more of an accent color. Obviously, the Jets also use they do the whiteout for the playoff runs that they have. So I think this is fun for as another option for fans to wear if they're gonna go to a playoff game rather than just the current away jersey or their old Heritage Classic away. So it's nice. It's just a good another option to throw in there. Again, love this logo compared to their current one, and yeah, it climbs up at 15. At 14, the Penguins bring back the Robo Penguin. Now, I was not expecting to love this design as much as I did when these first came out. I was like, oh, okay, it makes sense. But after seeing it more on TV when they were wearing it, and then when I finally got one, I was like, wow, I'm actually very surprised with how much I like this. I love the striping. I do think the Robo Penguin looks just great on this black background. Now, I believe they did wear a black version of the Robo Penguin way back when, but just the way that it was modernized in this design, I think kind of bumped it up enough for me, despite a little bit of a lack of originality, where I'm like, yeah, it just looks great. I'd be fine if they switched to this full time, I think, or maybe just using it as an alternate. I'm not sure. I do like their current logo as well, but yeah, they actually did really well with this one. So yeah, good on you, Pittsburgh. At number 13, finally a Canucks jersey that I'm a super big fan of. Because I've said many times I'm not a big fan of most of the Vancouver designs, but I love the Johnny Canuck. I think this is a great logo. They used a little bit of cream as well. This is throwing back to not the Vancouver Canucks, but not the NHL Vancouver Canucks, but the WHA Canucks. And yeah, I just really am glad that they went with something like this. And I like the colors that they chose rather than the black and orange. They did have, if this is customized, there's normally a number on the front, which I thought was kind of fun, but this is not customized, of course. So this was just really a slam dunk for them, and actually this was leaked, I think, before they were initially revealed. So this was the first design that I had seen from this second batch of reverse retros. It's like, wow, okay, yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to get one of those. This was one of the first reverse retro 2.0s I bought because I knew that they were gonna probably sell out. Similarly to the 1.0 run, which was kind of a disaster with how few they made, I should say, compared to the demand. So I was like, yeah, I'm gonna have to get my hands on one of these ones before they sell out. So very glad I did. Obviously, I have them all now, but I paid a little bit more for some of them that I would have liked. Anywho, coming in at number 13. Number 12, Montreal's 1.0 design. I love it. I think this is exactly what they needed to do. Okay, yeah, let me just change the home jersey and just switch it up. Now they're calling back to 76. I think this is when this striping was first introduced. So, and this is a Shea Weber that I got for pretty cheap from Tricolor Sports. But yeah, I just really like the contrast. I do love having the blue as the primary logo. I don't really know why I'm so enamored with it, because I'm not normally a huge fan of the Canadiens designs, but I thought that they really did a great job with this one. Okay, Anaheim coming in at number 11 with their 2.0 design. So another 90s throwback. Obviously, this is to their original logo with their current colors. And yeah, this is what a lot of people, I think, had been wanting, because they already sort of had their orange version of this design for their alternate before going back to their current homes, which are the Fanatics version. But yeah, this is a Trevor Zegras, and this was actually the last reverse retro that I added to my collection. Um, so I've just really been a fan of this one. It's another white one, but yeah, it's reverse. They hadn't really done quite something like this with the orange, so I get what they were doing. And yeah, everybody loves this logo. Enough said. All right, number 10. Rangers come back with this design again. I'm kind of surprised when I was initially going through the rankings. I was like, wow, I really didn't realize how much I like this design, but it's very nice. I like it much more with this style of blue than the darker shade that they went with the first Reverse Retro 1.0. Now again, I do think they could have gone with another sort of design, another logo, rather than just, oh, let's do the Liberty again. But this is like the best version of the Liberty that they could have done, I think. So just for that alone, I was like, wow, yeah, okay, I really do appreciate what they did here, and I am glad that they went back to this well, despite being a little bit bland and just okay, let's just do what we did 2 years ago with the current home color. But it still looks great in my opinion, which is why I have it at 10. Tampa cracks the top 10 with number 9, so this is their 1.0 design. And yeah, they didn't have a blue version of this back in the 90s, 2004. And that's when they won their first Stanley Cup. This is a Ryan McDonough. And yeah, I just really like the choice that they made here with using this logo, using the blue. The striping I do think I like quite a bit. Maybe the white block is a little bit big. That could be a small gripe, but I think that's just the design choice that they made back when this jersey debuted. But yeah, overall, I think this is one of the best designs that Tampa has ever worn, and I would love to see this come back full time. Very similarly with Dallas, they have brought a design that I really enjoy out of something that I don't generally like a lot of the Stars designs, especially from the 90s, I'm not a fan of. This is their 1993 design, and I love the logo, especially with the black. I think this green is one of the better greens that they've used. They obviously had this Texas shoulder patch back in the day, and yeah, I think Stars jerseys are generally not some of my favorite either. So when I saw this one, I was like, okay, wow, actually that is very good. They have a couple other designs that I maybe would have liked to see. Like, I would love to see the Mooterist jersey come back today. I know that one's not a very popular one, but I just love how that one looks in the coloring. But yeah, this one coming in at number 8. It's just super clean Stars look. So good job. My most expensive reverse retro purchase. This one was tough to get, and I'm very glad that I have it. This one comes in at number 7. Colorado's 1.0 design, throwing back to, of course, the Nordiques. They've got the Nordiques logo here, just colorized for modern Avalanche colors, and it just looks Fanatics. It just looks fantastic. It looks very nice. I love having the Fleur de Lis here, and I never would have expected to like this one as much as I do, but yeah, it just looks very good. I don't know if it would have worked as well if it was a maroon jersey with a white primary logo there. Maybe it would have. I'd like to see something like that. It would be fun. But yeah, they just did a great job with this one. So big fan. If you've been keeping track at home, this is the final 2.0 design coming in at number 6. So the top 5 are all Reverse Retro 1.0 designs. But yeah, maybe a little biased, but I don't know. I just when I was going through, I was like, wow, I really like the Vegas 2.0 design. Again, Vegas not around super long, so this is throwing back to 95 as well with the Thunder. So another sort of Thunder throwback, and they kind of use the Excalibur font here for the Excalibur Hotel, and then the numbering is for the Stardust Hotel, which is now gone. But yeah, definitely ties to Vegas, old and new. Again, love the shoulder patch. I just really like the font. It is glow in the dark, which is fun and very Vegas. And they had never used a black base jersey, so they kind of just introduced a bunch of things that I never really expected that I wanted. But after seeing them like culminated in this way, I was like I could not miss out on this jersey. So I ordered it right away. I got it customized with a Logan Thompson. He is of course no longer with the team, which I'm actually starting to run into. A lot of my customized Vegas jerseys are with former teammates or members of the organization. I wasn't on the team, but that's okay. I've got still some current guys that I have on my jerseys. But yeah, this one, my favorite Reverse Retro 2.0 jersey, and we'll now get into the top 5. So I thought Washington did it right the first time with their 1.0 design. Just the red, white, and blue colorized with the squiggle is just, I think it's better than the black version that they ended up going with for the second round. And it's just it's so clean. I'm sure so many fans would love to just see this come back, do a full rebrand to this design. Red, get a white version of this, which they've already done a white version, and then use the black alternate if you want, or you can do another type of alternate. But yeah, this is the best Capitals jersey I think that they've ever worn. I hope that they go back to this soon because they did a great job. Number 4, Florida's 1.0 design. I've just been a huge fan of this design as well. I love the blue, like the blue base is so good. I love this this current gold color that they're using. They do have this shoulder patch, which, yeah, I've already expressed how much I enjoy that one. This is a Huberdeau. He's no longer on the team as well, which is too bad. But the Leaping Cat, I kind of go back and forth on what my favorite Panthers logo is, but I do think it looks pretty good in this capacity. And yeah, these ones sold really well. I'm very happy to have this one in my collection because it's very hard to get a hold of one of these nowadays. So if you're hunting, just keep looking. But yeah, this one is one of my personal favorites. Not quite at the top of the list, but number 4. We've got a lot of very good jerseys coming up. Sensing a trend here where I do like the original 1.0 designs a little bit more than the 2.0s that they kind of copied. Oh gosh, this purple is so good. It doesn't look quite as purple on the camera, but it is very nice in person. I do love how it's colorized here versus the burnt sienna or the green version, which is the original alternate they were throwing back to. And this is a Phil Kessel for his brief time in Arizona, so that's fun. But yeah, I'm a big purple fan. You'll see that going forward here, but yeah, just everything about this is excellent. So this comes out at number 3. This is a fantastic jersey at number 2. The Devils 1.0 design. I know it's Christmas colored or whatever. I don't care. I love the green. I just love how it looks. I do like this logo. Obviously, they've used this logo their entire run, but the way that it just contrasts with the green here is super good. This is a Malcolm PK Subban. I don't think Malcolm ever played for the Devils, but yeah, I was just really a big fan of this jersey for a long time, and I really wanted it. But yeah, it's just really good, and I think that they went back to the heritage design for a little bit, which is kind of just like a white version of this with the green striping. They've used that a couple times, but this is a fantastic jersey. I'd love if they went to this as their current home. I don't think they're going to anytime soon because the current logo the current home jersey they have is just so classic, but this would be a huge win for me. Number 1, the Los Angeles Kings first design. Everything about this is great. So they use the 90s style logo with the original coloring, and yeah, I love how this logo looks colorized in this way. Of course, I'm a big purple fan, and the contrast with the yellow is great. This is a Drew Doughty, and this was also very expensive, but it's just so clean. I actually only recently wore this for the first time. I don't know if I'll ever like wear this outside because I just really wouldn't wanna mess anything up with this. But yeah, this is just my favorite design. I would love if they did exactly this as a home jersey. Good. Or I mean, they could update it to their current logo, which is a very slight variation of this logo. That would be fine with me. I don't know if they're going to anytime soon. Maybe they'll introduce something like this as an alternate in the near future. But yeah, this one ends up at number one on my list, and I'll quickly show you guys my the uh, the All Star jerseys, and then we'll do a little bit of a stats breakdown too on this list. So here you go. These are the Eastern and Western Conference throwback jerseys that they did for the All Star game. It says ASG on the collar there, 1994. So these are fun. I like them. I wasn't initially planning on getting them, but then they were both on sale for a decent price, and I was like, you know what? They're part of the Reverse Retro collection, so I'll grab them. These are the only All-Star jerseys I have in my collection, but I like them. I think they're fun. Nice little pink throwback in there, which you don't see on pretty much any jerseys for the NHL as far as that goes. So these are fun. But yeah, so that's it for the ranking. But I did do a little bit of statistics. I guess I had a little fun just kind of going through and seeing some of the trends. So if you want to check that out, that'll be a little bit going forward in this video. Otherwise, if you don't feel like checking out the stats, thanks for watching, everybody. You can subscribe if you haven't done so, and we'll see you soon. But for everybody sticking around, thank you, and let's check out some stats. Okay, so I want to just quickly show off just some fun stats I thought I would kind of dive into a little bit for my list as far as how I felt each team did. So I've kind of got some information here. I've got it sorted by each team's average score on my list. So we can see here Washington coming in at the top spot for their average score of 11. And yeah, Florida also did really well. Los Angeles, of course, Vegas did very well. And then, yeah, some other teams. So Detroit did the worst. I didn't count Seattle because they didn't really get two cracks at it. But yeah, Detroit did not do great. San Jose, not great. Nashville, not too good. So I thought that was kind of fun. And then looking at the disparity here as well, if we sort by that. There we go. So just kind of fun to see how different some of the two designs were. Like, yeah, San Jose's I didn't really rank too differently. Similarly with Calgary, and then yeah, Dallas had an awful Reverse Retro 1.0, and then they knocked it out of the park with their second one, difference of 53. New Jersey, pretty similar just because of how great I thought that their second design was. So yeah, these are all my ranks. We can sort them like this if you want. Oops. Well, I don't know what that did exactly, but so there's my list. I don't know what happened with number 30 there, but okay. Let's just go back to that. Anyways, figured I'd just kind of show that off a little bit, and then we'll go over to this tab. So here I just kind of made some pie graphs showing the different breakdowns in the different decades that the jerseys were kind of throwing back to, and these are just based off the numbers on the collars. So some of those numbers aren't like completely true to the full like when the design actually came from, but I just used that. So for ranks 1 through 10 on my list, so 70% of those designs originated from the 90s. You'll notice that there's just a lot of 90s designs in general, which makes sense, you know, cyclical outfits and what's the word I'm looking for? trends, styles, whatever. It seems like those things always come back around. So, and then split between the thousands, the 80s, and the 70s, and then 11 through 10, kind of similar story. Not as much, a little more even spread, but still 50%. Like you can see through all these that the 90s are pretty much dominating. Most of these, but like even in the middle of the pack, a lot of 90s designs. 41 through 50 is kind of a grab bag. The thousands, I guess, taking up the reins here, and we'll look at just the totals. So 50%, a little bit more than 50% of the total reverse retro designs were calling back to something from the 90s. Then we got the 70s, which I was actually a little surprised that the 70s was the next highest one. But then 2000s, the 80s a little bit here, the 60s, and then the 30s, the 2010s, and I can't remember what this color is. It's probably like the 40s as well. So I think for the Blackhawks, because the Blackhawks and the Red Wings had some pretty old designs that they were throwing back to. But I just thought that would be kind of fun to just take a look at that and see some of the decisions that they made and how I felt personally, about some of the choices that the executives and the teams made on these runs. But obviously I had a super fun time with them. I collected all of the jerseys eventually, and it was a really fun run, which I'm sad to see go now with the Adidas era ending and Fanatics taking over. We'll see if they do something similar to this. They won't obviously brand anything as reverse retro. That's Adidas. But maybe we'll see if Fanatics does something else where it's like a league-wide run for an extra, a third or fourth jersey going forward. Probably not for at least a couple other years. I would think at least 2 more seasons before they bring in their own template, because they're still using the Adidas template now. But we'll see if something like this comes back. I might also try to do a concept jersey video for what I would like to see if there was ever another round of reverse retros, which they won't happen. It's just kind of for fun, like what I would think a fun design kind of in that same vein for these teams would be. I have made up like a kind of a list, but I don't know how to create them myself. I'm not really a Photoshop expert, so maybe that video will happen, maybe it won't. I might try to contact some people, see if I can have someone else make them for me or teach me how to do it myself. Oh, I'm getting ahead of myself here a little bit. But that's it for this video. It's been kind of a long one, but I thank you for sticking with me. Just seeing how I feel about jerseys. I love talking about them. We don't always bring them up in every episode of the podcast because I don't want to bog things down too much, and there's a lot of other fun hockey news going on. But that's it for this one. Thanks so much for watching. Subscribe if you haven't done so already. We've got content similar to this every once in a while, but most notably we have our weekly episodes of our podcast, which come out every Sunday morning, 7 a.m. Eastern. So please check those out if you haven't done so. And enough shilling for now. Have a good one.